If there's a video that acted as sort of a concise handbook to give you everything you needed to become an academic weapon, this one will be it. One of those videos you come back to time and time again as a refresher to remember what you actually need to do to achieve your goals. So for all the hours you spent entertaining yourself online today, make watching this video be the one thing you do to take a step forward in realizing your goals. So I got 7 lessons for you on how to become an academic weapon. Lesson 1 is to stop thinking that shortcuts are evil. You ever wonder why academic exams are built to reward those who take the shortcuts? Why are SAT problems hard unless you know the shortcut? Why are MCAT problems, AP calculus problems? Why are all these major exams problems so hard unless you know the fastest way to do it? Because there's a specific trick. There's a trick that makes you be able to solve the problem faster than someone who does the standard long way. You see, being smart is not always doing things the long way, the hard way, or even the right way. Being smart is knowing what's the fastest, most efficient method of solving something. So when you grow up and your parents tell you don't take shortcuts in life, that's true. I can understand that. But a lot of times in the academic environment, taking shortcuts will actually reward you. It'll help you progress faster. And companies, businesses, everyone in the corporate world, in the grown-up world, takes shortcuts because doing things a long way just isn't reasonable anymore. Maybe back in the day when your parents used to cross mountains and walk miles in the mud to get to school, but not anymore. You have so many tasks to do. Imagine completing a task fast enough by taking a shortcut that now you have more time to do those other tasks. So now you're no longer pressed for time because you have ample time to do everything you need to get done in that day or in that time frame because you decide to take that shortcut. If you have 7 tasks, you take the long way for all 7 tasks, you're probably not going to finish all 7 tasks. So now who's doing more work? Who's giving more output? Next lesson is a 1-1-1 method. For every social club, join an academic club. For every academic club, join a rigorous class. This is one of the keys to becoming an academic weapon. You see, as an academic weapon, you can't just be someone who's just good at school. You have to be someone who's also able to, perform well in a social environment, someone who is drawn to a place that has opportunity, which can be a social club. It can be an academic club. And of course, it can be a rigorous class. You're going to meet a bunch of smart people. In the social club, you're going to meet other people who might be future business leaders or people leaders. In the academic club, you're probably going to meet Albert Einstein's long lost nephews and nieces. By connecting with all these people, you're becoming smarter. Now, I'm not saying the person in the social club, let's say you're joining some sort of frat soccer club, is going to be smarter than you. In fact, you might be the smartest in the room in an environment like that. But they might have you beat in some part of their brain. They might be using some part of their brain more than you use that exact same part. And that's what you can learn from that person. And that's why no matter where you are, what room you're in, no matter the average IQ in that room, don't start thinking that you're above everyone else because everyone has something that you can take from them. And that's why the 1-1-1 method works so well in high school and even in college, even in the corporate environment, because you're diversifying yourself. Lesson 3 is pad your stats. Now, you might be wondering, what are you talking about? Why would I, try to fluff up my grade as high as possible? I feel like that's a dumb question, no? You want to give yourself that mental freedom. Who's going to do better on an exam? The person who needs to get a 90% to get an A, or the person who can get less than 90% and still get an A in the class? The person who has that freedom and the no nerves will probably perform the best on the exam, even if they study the same amount. Because the person who needs that A to get the A in the class, they're going to just add extra pressure on themselves, which is inevitable, right? And it's a flaw of human nature. Right? You're going to add pressure to yourself because you know how much this exam you're going to take is worth. And you're going to start making blunders, making stupid errors. But the person who is relaxed doesn't really care what they get on the exam because they know that as long as they don't absolutely fail, they'll probably still get an A. They're still going to get a higher score than you, even though they might even study less because the nerves are no longer a factor. There's a study that goes like your optimal self is when you're kind of nervous, but mostly not nervous. And that's when you're performing the best. So if you're going to be that person who's dead nervous, sweating, biting your nails, you're probably not going to do so well. So how do you avoid all of this? From the get-go, just pad your stats. You want to be that student who takes on the extra credit, who goes above and beyond to, get that extra 2% on your grade, even if it's like doing a hour-long presentation for whatever reason, just for a 3% boost. Do it, because you never know when that 3% might edit your grade from a B to an A. When that 3% will give you that A, and that will help you get a 4.0, and that will help you get into the college of your dreams. It's all a compounding effect. These stats equal opportunities in the world of education. I got a full ride scholarship to my college because my stats were high. Did I pad my stats? You best believe I did. I would even ask my teacher, hey, by the way, is there any extra credit I can get? Especially if I knew an exam was coming up. If I knew an exam was coming up, I would ask my teacher as much as possible, even well before the exam, actually. I would ask for some sort of extra credit opportunities. So at that point, she's not thinking, hey, is he asking this because the exam is coming up? Or is he just asking this because he's that type of student? Obviously, deep inside, I know I'm asking this because the exam's coming up, but I asked it far back enough where it didn't give off that, attitude or vibe. So my teacher would present me extra credit opportunities that she may not have given anyone else, because I would ask for it. I would go out seeking. That's well before the exam, so where I don't seem some sort of desperate person who's like struggling to get his grade up. I remember this one history class I took. I was given the chance to get my entire letter grade bumped up if I did this presentation, and I did it. And as a result, my B went to an A, and I could literally slack as much as possible as long as I knew that I would get at least an 80% of the class, because I knew I was getting that letter grade bump up regardless. So all that extra time I had, I could just spend on other classes. So now all my stats are rising. So it's all a compounding effect. Lesson 4 is that nothing is the end all be all. This is one of the biggest flaws of students today. Failure happens. As long as you're failing forward and you're learning from whatever your failure is, you're good. You're gonna fail. But no matter if you fail your SAT, your MCAT, it's not the end all be all. Most big exams you're gonna take in your life, you can take them multiple times. The SAT you can take 2 to 3 times. The MCAT you can take 2 to 3 times. And colleges won't care. Med schools won't care. So stop stressing about, oh my God, if I fail this one time, it's over for me. I might get into my dream college. Doesn't matter. Even if you don't get into dream college, my dream college was Stanford University. I didn't get in, and my sister got in. So I would be a legacy hire, but I still didn't get in, right? I thought that, dang, this kind of sucks, but I never thought it would be the end all be all, because no one who didn't go into the dream school that they were trying to go to ended up becoming a failure. If you have like a high reaching goal, right, and you're trying to shoot for the moon, but you miss it, you still land among the stars. I still was able to get into a top 15 computer science university with the full ride, even though I was shooting for Stanford. I practiced to get into Stanford. Now if I got into Stanford, will I be richer right now? I don't know. I've earned about $300,000 and I'm 23, a little more than that actually. So maybe if I got into Stanford, maybe it'd be like 400, 500, who knows? Or maybe I would think that I'm already set in life, that I wouldn't try to look for those outside opportunities, those smart tactics of making money quick, right? Maybe I would just have a whole different mindset. You can't really decide what's going to happen in your life, right? Lesson 5 is to keep your peers close. Okay. There's nothing wrong in asking your peers what was on the exam. In fact, you're lucky to have more time to prepare than them. And they'll probably ask you next time, hey man, what was on the exam? Nothing wrong with that. I know some teachers, complain against it, but it's the law of students. We're going to do that. That's just our nature. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the best thing about having peers is if you all work together, a mistake your peer makes, you can learn from it and never make that mistake, right? So now if there's 5 of you studying in the same study group for the same exact topic, each person makes a different mistake. Now, that other people in that group won't make the same mistake that their peer made. So you're basically solving 5 mistakes at a time by having a study group of 5 people. So learn from your peers. Enjoy their mistakes, because now they just taught you that something where now you won't make the same mistake they did. And same thing for them. They'll learn from you if you make a mistake. They won't make the same mistake you do. I know a lot of my friends, they would put me on some opportunities and clubs that I never even knew existed. They would tell me about social gatherings, some like ice cream socials in college that I didn't know were happening. And as a result, I went to the social and I was presented an opportunity, maybe meeting a person, meeting like a recruiter for a job. And I was able to connect with them because I went to that event or that opportunity. And it's because of my friends who set me up to go there. So, when you have a wingman or wingwoman to help you get that girl or guy you like, right? It's the same thing, but for opportunities. So keep your peers close. Lesson 6 is that study times matter. Okay, if you're studying at night, morning, and afternoon, you're going to get different results. Studying at afternoon and evening, I think, are the worst. I think studying at night is the best. In fact, scientifically, if you sleep after you study, you retain the information more. So if you're going to be sleeping 8 hours anyways, why not study at night right before you sleep so you can sleep on that information? Instead, you're not going to study at in the morning and then proceed to rot your brain for the next 8 hours on TikTok, right? Where all that studying you did kind of slowly disappeared. So that's why I recommend studying at night. That's what I always did for all my major exams. And I found that the most helpful. Some people like to study really early in the morning. If it works for you, do it. But for most people, if you're watching this, you're probably one of those nighttime studiers and you don't even realize that. And that kind of goes into lesson 7. Don't let brain rot get you. Don't be that person who spends hours studying and then spends more hours brain rotting yourself after. Because at that point, you're kind of negatively affecting all the studying you just did. Doom scrolling is real. When you're studying, keep your phone away. Put your phone as far away from you as possible. In fact, delete TikTok and social media when you're preparing for an upcoming major exam, because you won't believe the effect that doom scrolling actually has on you. And maybe when you're doom scrolling, you come across educational content or content that actually helps you for your exam. That's rare. Let's be honest. 90% of your feed is probably some TikTok dance. So now that you have the blueprint, go and become an academic weapon.